Welcome to Simplicity Conversations, the podcast where business, culture, and community come together to inspire and empower. I'm your host, Catherine Ripley. Each week, we'll explore meaningful conversations about how today's business landscape is shaped by innovation, relationships, and the people behind the progress. From actionable insights and stories from industry leaders to topics like customer experience, fostering strong business relationships, and the role of automation, we've got you covered. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating growth, a leader focused on building lasting connections, or someone interested in how culture and community drive success, Simplicity Conversations is here to guide you. If you're ready to turn challenges into opportunities and make meaningful strides in your business and community, subscribe now and join the conversation. Get ready to simplify complexity and make an impact with Simplicity Conversations. Welcome to Simplicity Conversations, where we delve into the stories and strategies driving success in business and technology. Today, I'm excited to share a deeply personal and inspirational story. It's my own. I'm Catherine Ripley, and I'll be reflecting on my journey and overcoming challenges alongside my two daughters and my mom, and how I was growing Simplicity into the thriving company that it is today. This episode is not just about my path, but about the lessons I've learned along the way and how they can inspire others to have their own journeys. Let's explore how resilience, family, and vision has shaped Simplicity and its mission. But first, we're going to start with our Simplicity Insights. This is the point where we share a famous quote, and hopefully that will inspire you. Today, our quote is from Wanda Hope Carter. Family and friends are hidden treasures. Seek them and enjoy their riches. I think that's a great way to start this podcast. So I'm really excited to introduce you to my mom, Caron Toby, and my two daughters, Nichole McDonald and Samantha Sholton. And then we have Doug Seitz here that's going to try to control the chaos. So I'm just going to apologize right now because he's going to have his work cut out for him. But I'm really excited for you to learn a bit more about me, but also what my driving factors are and why I work so hard and pour so much of myself into Simplicity. So Doug, I will turn it over to you to have fun with this crew.
All righty.
Good luck.
So just to start things off, just kind of talking about backgrounds and growing up with Catherine or having Catherine grow up with you. And so just kind of want to hear a little bit about, you guys' experiences of seeing Catherine grow as an individual, but also grow in the business, and just share some good stories and some of the low down dirt that then I can also keep up here in case I need it for the future. But
yeah, definitely. So I think I'll start. I didn't know that I was going to start a company, and I was married right out of high school because, as my mom says, I was climbing Fool's Hill, thought I knew everything, and as a teenager recognized that I knew nothing about life. But I ended up getting married right after my 18th birthday and had Nichole, a couple months before I was 19. And then, 2.5 years later, I had Samantha, and I was pretty much on my own. Their dad left about a month before Sam was born. So I kind of joke that my girls really raised me because I was barely 19 having a newborn, and then 21 having another newborn on my own. And my mom kind of took me in because my ex-husband was in the military. So Samantha was born in Newport, Rhode Island, and Nichole was born in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So here I was in Newport with a newborn going, oh my gosh, what do I do? So I moved back home and trying to figure life out. But, when you have these two kids to figure out how to do life with, you just, thankfully, I come from a long line of really stubborn survivors that, we figure stuff out, it's inherent to us. So I think that I watched my mom and my grandma and my two aunts figure life out. And it really instilled in me that I could do it. I could do what I needed to do. And then I had these two girls that, really pushed and drove me to do something better. So, I do really, really say that we're the Three Musketeers. In fact, our group chat is Three Musketeers that we chat back and forth.
Yeah.
So, Mom, what do you think of when when you kind of look back on where I'm at,
Well, I thank God we all survived it, and it just amazes me how far you've come, and I'm grateful. The education is what helps everybody,
Yeah.
and I wasn't able to get that kind of education, but I worked hard to instill in you the work values, so
Yeah.
I believe you've got them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you girls?
Yeah. Kind of what Nana was saying, how she instilled that like work ethic. And even when we are struggling, we still have that of we can't give up. We have to keep trying. And that's just passed down from great grandma to mom to us to hopefully our daughters. Just never give up and just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think really there's a lot that came from Fluffy Grandma and her strength to go through any situation that she went through, any adversity that she went through. Nana really learned a lot from that, a lot of that from her, and pass that down to mom. And just that strength to keep going,
I love
even when it's hard.
Yeah, I love that you called her Fluffy Grandma because, I think we need
There's
to
a story
explain that.
behind that.
Nichole was the first grandchild on my mom's side. My grandmother was comfortable to hug. And Nichole being 2 years old, there was some things that she would say that would just make us laugh. And one time she was giving Grandma a hug and she said, "Grandma, you're so fluffy." And I know as a grandma, if my grandkids called me fluffy, I'd probably be in puddles of tears going, "Fluffy, what's that about?" But my grandma just took it in stride and she referred to herself as Fluffy Grandma too, But Nichole kind of lovingly named my grandmother her great grandmother because we had 5 generations and we have 5 generation pictures. Like when Nichole was born, Mom's grandma, my great grandma, was still alive and we got that picture. And then when Alex was born, we had, a 5 generation picture. So, I think that you don't realize some of the things that happen in a family that make you go, "Oh my gosh, that was impactful."
Yeah. Well, I think even as a 2-year-old or whenever I named Grandma that, I learned that voice from you at such a young age.
You had to.
Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nichole and Samantha, speaking of like early memories, do you guys have any early memories of Catherine, working hard, pursuing your dreams, just things that kind of stick out to you as things that you remember that are like, yeah.
Definitely. I'll go first, Nikki.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've always known that my mom was a superhero and the strongest woman on this planet. Even when I was a teenager and putting her through stressors, she still just loved with her whole heart and did everything to keep us safe and moving forward and waiting tables at night just to be able to pay for simplicity and growing that and just hustling and never stopping and you don't have an ability to stop and feel bad or sorry for yourself. You just take everything that's been given to you and just push forward. And I honestly admire the fact that you were raising kids, had a corporate job, and then also was working at brands, waiting tables on the side just to make ends meet.
I get that from my mom. Like she doesn't stop now.
Doesn't stop
ever. Yeah, it doesn't. One memory that I have, and I have a few different times in my life that I've had to rely on a second job, waitressing. And waitressing was my thing because it was easy for me to do and relatable to people. And I didn't have a babysitter. And I was going to college and I was waitressing at night. And I had to bring
Applebee's.
Yeah, I had to bring you guys in to work with me. I had no choice. You were too young to stay home. And so you guys were in this booth rolling silverware for me while I was waitressing. And I got in trouble because a customer complained that there were these kids rolling silverware and touching silverware. And all I was doing was trying to,
Feed us.
work. And I mean, when I went to college, I was the first child in my family ever to go to college. And my brother and sister have since gone and gotten a degree, but I was the first one. And here I was, just, what do I do? How do I do it? And then I was stuck sometimes because I didn't have somebody to watch the girls. So
I remember going to class with you a couple times.
Yeah. And that was before it was acceptable. I think nowadays people are like, they recognize that single parents, have these challenges. So then, getting in trouble for it, and I almost lost my job when I'm like, would you want me to not show up for the shift? Is that worse?
Right.
But, I think that when I was in college, I just knew that I needed to get through it. So, I mean, one of my semesters, I took 26 credit hours. I had a six credit hours for this internship, which took a lot of hours. I had 2 credit hours for a seminar. And then I had 18 credit class load. And then I had the girls and I had a waitressing full time. And I remember my sister Dee brought my niece over at 5:30 in the morning because she would drop Shelby off and I'd get the girls off to school before I went to school. And I was up doing dishes and she said, why are you up so early? I said, what do you mean? I didn't go to bed last night. I had a paper to write. So I knew that I just had to do whatever I could to get through it. And I did a major in international relations at Grand Valley and I did a minor in French and Japanese because I wanted international business and they didn't have an international business program yet. But I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. I just had this feeling inside that I could do more. So I just did as much as I could, even at an impossible level. I didn't look too big. I just looked, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do this weekend? Because if I looked too big, I would crumble because it seemed impossible. So I think that's one of my big lessons is whether it was when I went through school or when I started the company, I had to have that mentality of if I look at how to do it all, I couldn't. Just focus on right now, what can I do and move from there. And I know for a fact that you guys were clearly my drivers of I wanted to make you guys proud. Like I wanted you to see if you work hard, you can dream big and you can get there. And sometimes I think dreams are out there and like I dream of having an office in France someday. But at some point that becomes a goal. It's more real because you just keep inching towards it. And I think that people don't give themselves permission to dream big enough. Like I've been saying this past year, 10x it, whatever your dream is, 10x it, because we don't, especially I think women don't give themselves enough credit or feel like they're enough to dream big enough. And you need to do that because there's no reason you can't.
So Caron, I'd like to hear from you a little bit.
Oh.
What's it been like, just watching Catherine and Catherine's journey and, to building Simplicity into what it is now and, anything that kind of like has really stood out for you as something that's been real special for you to watch with her?
Well, it's really been amazing. I think one of the great parts was when she come bouncing out of the building and I was sitting in the back seat of her friend's car and she says, I got it. I got the Meyer contract and it was the best feeling. And he said, oh, that's nice. And I thought, that's incredible.
More than nice.
Yeah. That was a pivotal moment
It was.
in the company when you are a small business and you're working so hard to work with customers and then you get somebody that says yes and you have the ability to affect change. And what I knew that I wanted to do with any type of success at Simplicity was to take care of those that I care about, whether it's my family or whether it's my staff, and give them the opportunity. Because I had worked at many companies where people would look at 8:05, you're here at 8:05. And it's like, there was traffic and I have a 45-minute commute. But they're also the same people that cut out at 10 to 5 and I'm here at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they don't see that. So I didn't want a company that was like that. I wanted life to happen. Life happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to not fear for their job. Like when my girls were rolling silverware and I might lose my job, I wanted them to go, stuff happens. We bring dogs into the office. We bring children into the office. Because what do we need to do to have people show up? I think that
Simplicity is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Remember, we've said that
Yeah.
quite a few times, and it is. It's
It
not
is.
just a job, it's a lifestyle.
it is.
Because we care about each other so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we care about the company, obviously, because it's your little baby. But
Yeah. I know it's a tangible thing. It's like I have an 18-year-old again, and it's been a heck of a teenager sometimes, because we just had our 18th birthday. And it's changed so much over the years, but my drivers haven't changed. I don't care how old your kids get. My girls are in their mid-30s, which I can't believe that because I'm still 32. I don't know how this is happening. But like I always say, this is my
we're
mom's
going to edit
age.
that out. Don't tell them my age, mother.
But it's like I still worry about my girls. Have you eaten? Do you have a roof? It doesn't end when they move out. You're still trying to protect and take care of them. And now I just have more of that with all of the staff. I'm constantly worried about, Doug's seen, I'm not a hover mom, but Doug's seen it too in the couple of years that he's been here. It's like, Doug, are you good? Can I do anything? And he's like, I got this. But it just comes from a place.
Her nature.
Yeah. I'm a fixer. I take care of things. But yeah, it's kind of nice to have an environment where people can be comfortable for sure.
Mom, and I want to tell you how funny it is that you brought up the Applebee's and silverware wrapping story. I literally wrote that down as a talking point for myself.
Do you remember the dollar guy?
Yeah.
The one that
Well,
would
I
give
want
us
you
dollars?
to know that might have been difficult for you and you might have had a negative interaction with your boss. But for me, I remember feeling so proud to be there. Like, I'm with my mom. I'm helping my mom at work. Like, this is the most exciting thing for me. And seeing her work really hard, like there's this positive gloss over my memory of that.
Oh, good. I think as a parent, you just try not to screw your kids up too bad, right? Honestly, I've said to my girls, hopefully this is okay on the pocket. Don't get married, don't get pregnant. I can fix everything else. And they didn't listen. At some point, you just want them to learn from your mistakes. You want to protect them from the hurt that go for. But, I think that it's so hard because sometimes you don't have control of that. And, if they just grow up to not be serial killers or not be, drug addicts, it's like, oh, successful, contributing members to society. That's I think what we want to do. But at the end of the day, you hope that they can focus on good memories because, it's life. Life is hard. It's not fair, but you have to stop and you have to count your blessings. We just had a call the other night and Nichole was upset about something. And I said, okay, let's go through it. Let's talk about what you're grateful for. Let's talk about the good things that you have. Because if you can focus, you can have a moment. In fact, Samantha, you've taught me something that I pull out and I actually share when I'm doing speaking engagements. Sometimes it's hard. Life is hard. And I kind of get, most of the time, I'm very optimistic and positive. But once in a while, I get down. And early in the company, you saw one of those days and you walked in and you said, what's going on, Mom? I said, honey, I guess I'm just not Superwoman today. And she said, Mom, you're always Superwoman. Your cape's just at the dry cleaner. And that's been so impactful because you're right. And my mom has taught me that I can do anything. I just may choose not to do something, but I think that we have to keep forging forward and, focus on the good stuff. So I'm so glad to hear, Nichole, that, it's challenging because I've had a very broken road, but I'm so grateful for that because I love who I am. I love where I am. I love what Simplicity does for you guys and for my staff and for my clients. We've got really a special thing, but that there's been some challenges along the way. And I think that that's something that people should not focus on. Don't focus on the things that went wrong. You got to learn from them. They're fail forward moments, but find the place where you can go, but look at this negative thing that happened, but look at how it's turned out. And every time I've had something that would be considered negative on my journey, look at where I am. I'm in such a positive place.
So, Catherine, we've heard a lot about how, the things that you've done for the girls and stuff, but Samantha and Nichole, I'd love to hear kind of some of the ways that you support Catherine. Because I think, I'm in the office and, Samantha, you come in with the girls. And so I see you come in and Nicole's been in and I hear you guys talking and stuff like that. So I know that there's some back and forth with it too. Like you guys are supporting Catherine too, and you're helping her out. So I'd kind of love to hear a little bit about, some of those ways that you guys contribute and kind of keep her where she needs to be on some of these things. The Cape quote is great. I know you were talking to Nick and I about that the other day because we were talking about some stuff that, we were trying to figure out and stuff. And I was like, man, that's a great quote. But so I know there's some other stuff in there if you guys share some of that.
Yeah. So
It's okay. I'll go.
cut that whole part out, please.
So it's hard for me to feel like I'm supporting my mom being in Florida. I was in Colorado before this and New Mexico before this. So a thousand miles away from her. But I like to think that I'm one of her biggest fans, and I've always
Wrong.
been a cheerleader for her and like, Mom, you can do this. I believe in you. I know that it's going to be hard. And even if you get a no, like Meyer didn't sign with you with your first offer. You know what I mean? Your first pitch. It took a couple times. And I knew every
9
time that
years.
even if you get a no, you're going to get a yes. You're going to regroup and do things a little bit differently and learn what you could have done differently. And you'll get the yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll push through.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to say is my mom does have the biggest heart and she loves simplicity in her employees and her clients.
Mhm.
But I do have to remind her every now and again, just take some time for yourself. Cool down for a little bit. You bring your superhero cape to the dry cleaner and just take it off and just be for a moment. But even outside of that, I could not be more proud. And the Applebee's thing, I feel like I have just such a strong connection to Applebee's because I do. I remember like feeling so defeated in my own like motherhood journey. And I reflect back and I'm like, my mom had me out there vacuuming Applebee's floors and giving me her tips. Like I can do anything because my mom has done it all. And so,
And the only thing I gave you back then was an Oreo shake. It's amazing
An
what
Oreo
you guys
shake.
did for Oreo shakes.
I would do shady things for an Oreo shake. I love them.
That's
So,
funny.
There's definitely times that I've called Mom and I'm like, why are you doing this? You have to get somebody else to do this.
Yeah.
So you're not focusing on 700 emails that you have to answer. You can really relax on like vacation. You can go to your vacation and not worry about coming home to a bunch of emails that you have to answer. Because you can't really relax. You can't really enjoy your time off if you know you have a million things to do when you get back.
Caron, what's a quality in Catherine that you really admire, but also what's one that maybe drives you a little crazy about Catherine?
Oh my goodness.
Get into it a little bit here.
She doesn't slow down and relax.
Where does she get that from, Nana?
She gets it from me. I have worried about my kids and worked excessively, and Catherine has too. And every time she gets a no, it's the next opportunity to her, and she keeps going.
So I'm going to tell a little story. We may have a few tears coming into the studio. I was part of the worst moment of my mother's life. I had to deliver the news that my little brother passed away. So it was in that moment that I completely enveloped my mom. And I said, my mom gets a pass for the rest of her life. It doesn't matter what crazy thing she does. She gets a pass, because I think when you lose a child, you go a little crazy. It's so out of the norm. So I think that that's what really hyper-focused my take care of people and fix people, because it was such unbelievable experience for me. And to watch my mom go through something with such grace, and it was such an ungraceful situation with the people involved in that. And it was a military funeral, and it was just all this ceremonial. But I kept watching my mom turn the other cheek of her ex-husband that treated her terribly, just reprehensively. And I just watched this going, how is she doing this? How is she continuing to take this? But I think the grace that I saw in that, I kept that feeling of no matter what the situation is, if you lose with grace, if you turn the other cheek, if you believe that karma will take care of everything,
Karma will take care of everything.
yeah, that you can ride that journey. And so I think my little brother's death, he was 7 years younger than me, and he passed away. He was in the military, passed away on a motorcycle. And my daughters and my mom and our family, that was the first real major trauma that we experienced. And I know I didn't handle it as well as I could have, like telling my daughters or, watching this experience. But I think that it's those moments that you have to feel that emotion, go through it, and realize you got to find some peace in it because you can't undo it. It's there, but it is forever on yourself. So even today, my mom just moved into my condo with me, and I'm experiencing a different side of taking care of my mom, and I'm loving it. And, my girls, and so I'm moving into this new relationship. And I think that even those terrible, terrible moments that we have in our life, that everybody experiences them. None of us are immune to it.
Yeah.
But you just got to take it and move forward. And again, do your...
What can you control?
Yeah. And we have this thing where it's like, okay, I think you need to go get a Dove bar. The ice cream bars dipped at you, Dove bar. Mm-hmm. Go get a Dove bar. Give yourself a night to watch a really sad movie so you cry it out. And then the next day, you're going to be stronger, and you just keep going. And I think that was
a pivotal moment. Yeah.
Yeah. What I've seen from my mom of going through that experience and in the worst thing in the world. And so here now with business, even though things can be terrible, like, oh, you lose a deal or you have an employee, change that is hard to do, I always kind of approach those scenarios where simplicity deserves me to do the right thing for the business. So if that means firing somebody, if that means making a decision that's hard, I kind of steel my shoulders and go, okay, ready. Because I've watched that happen over and over in my childhood and in my life. And I think that people, give yourself the time to freak out about it, whatever you need to do to kind of work through the emotions, but then don't sit with it too long, because then it'll just really derail your life. Life is so precious. Like we are taking advantage of spending time, which is our most precious asset, is time. We do trips together, as a family. We try to really spend quality time. Sam, your love language is quality time. So
very much so.
If we don't spend enough time together, I know Sam gets a little crazy, and then it's okay. Well, let's go do something.
Not crazy.
No, well,
sometimes both. Sometimes both.
Yeah.
So I think the moral of that story was we see where our strength comes from and our, fall with grace, because everyone in our family
I think
has
also
that.
Sorry, Sam.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
We also do the best that we can in the moments and with the knowledge that we have at those times. And we learn from that and get better in the future.
Hopefully better in the future. Yeah.
Hopefully better.
Always striving for better. We're not perfect. I don't want perfect.
I'm pretty perfect.
Not yet.
You're pretty perfect.
Just kidding.
Yeah. You guys are pretty awesome. But no, we have a great family, but we all make mistakes. We all make decisions that we thought were good and didn't end up where we needed to. But I think what's super important for people to recognize is that you do have the courage to change. It's your responsibility. If you're not happy in your career, in your life, with a person in a specific relationship, you have to be courageous. And I think that's hard to make those changes. It's hard to say, Am I strong enough to get out of this situation or change the situation? I've had friend relationships end that were like, why? But, people come in and out of our lives for a reason. And I think there's a saying, people are in your life for a reason, they're for a season, something like that. But I think it's important to say change is okay. This life is hopefully long and rewarding, but if you have something that doesn't bring you joy and doesn't bring you happiness, it takes us a little bit to get that point where it's like, yeah, I definitely need this change, but make the change because no matter the unknown, you're going to get yourself to more happy.
I think for my favorite qualities about mom, and I wouldn't say it's a negative quality. It's just a quality that we're working on still. And Sam can agree with me.
We are working on it.
Her perseverance is amazing and her drive is amazing. It's something I look up to. That little thing that we're working on, though, is when she says no, she's not going to get matching tattoos with us.
Oh,
Look, lady, we're going to do it. We're going to
Audacity.
get you to that point. You can't be
I
stubborn
cannot-
forever.
I can. Ask my mother.
That's
She
on
does
my
it
goal
very,
list.
very
Needles.
stubborn.
She's
We've
not
got a-
going to do
They
it.
want me to have a tattoo dog, and
We've got a pretty simple little logo that
I love it.
would fit pretty well as a tattoo. Just saying.
Guys, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do a tattoo. But okay, you guys need to know my daughters have tattoos, and
We've been
every
terrorizing
time-
you since we were 17.
They have, and it's like, stop it. I just wish they would use a canvas that they could put on the wall to express themselves instead of their
body.
canvas that I created. I made this especially for you.
We're enhancing it.
Yeah, I'm custom. Okay.
Yeah, you're custom, all right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, going back to kind of what I was saying before, like, it's awesome seeing you guys, how connected you guys are. And, just if I can't get into Catherine's office because I need to ask her a question, I'm pretty much like, well, she's probably talking to one of the girls. So I'll come back and get it. But, Samantha's in the office and comes in with the girls and stuff to check in and to help out with some stuff too. You've been super helpful with things. And Caron has been super helpful. We've had the big move to the new building here
Yeah.
in the past month and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I've popped in to come in and help, and she's ahead of me there, and she's already
Cooking, baking.
yeah, cooking and baking stuff, which is delicious, by the way. Thank you. But and also just helping me out at the holiday party and just
Yeah.
always jumping in. So it's awesome to see you guys, just how connected you guys are, and it never feels like Catherine has been like Samantha, you got to come in and do this, or Mom, you got to come in. You guys have just volunteered and do it. So it's that's really cool to see. And it speaks a lot towards just, you guys' family dynamic and the things that you guys have, gone through together, and that work ethic and that understanding of like you were saying too, people come into your lives and some people stick around for a lot of it. And, there's
Season.
Yeah, there's families where, hey, maybe you don't see people for a while and you don't hear them, but I know you guys are always so connected. So it's really cool to see. But to be a little more lighthearted on something, what's besides, going out for a family tattoo day, what would be like the perfect day for you four to like spend an afternoon doing something together?
On a cruise.
I literally was just going to say the same thing.
On a cruise.
Put us on a boat together with some margaritas and the sun. Yeah, like a very, very hot sun. I'm good.
We have a
Okay, and Pronto Pumps, going down to Grand Haven. And that's because I don't live there anymore and I miss that. But going down to Grand Haven, getting Pronto Pups and soaking up the sun.
Yeah,
I love being by my family and just having that energy. It's rejuvenating for me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the military. Her husband's in the Air Force. And so they've lived in a few different states. And Nichole is a labor and delivery nurse. So it's been cool to watch her journey. What she doesn't know is when Scott retires, she's coming back to
Moving
Michigan, even though she keeps saying, no, I'm not. It's like, I am not opposed to bribery to get her back. But, I think
I'll come back for visits.
Yeah, visits. Yeah, she's going to live here. She can go other places when she wants to step out a bit. But yeah, we're headed out soon for one of my mom's milestone birthdays, and my sister's coming from Montana, and my daughters are going to be, and we're going to do a cruise. And I think
We've never done that. We've
Yeah.
never gone on a vacation with just us, without the kids.
yeah, without the kids, we
Yeah.
did one with Nichole, a renewal of vows, where
I'm so
there was
excited.
yeah, it's going to be really fun. Just taking care of each other.
My invite was missing, I guess. So.
I know.
I think it got lost in the mail.
It's just snail mail.
Snail mail. Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as we kind of start to wrap things up here a little bit, just, Caron, Nichole, Samantha, what's a wish that you have for Catherine just as she continues to grow the business and grow, personally, like what's something that you want for her or, hope for her to accomplish here?
Yeah. So professionally, I just want to see her reach all of her goals.
Office in France.
Yeah, I was getting there. I want her to have that international office because she has talked about it her whole entire Simplicity career. And I just know that when she walks into that office in Paris, she's just going to be, okay, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have
Yeah,
that like
the
relief.
I made it moment.
And then personally, I just want the world to see my mom through my eyes. Because if they did, this woman would take over the world in the best way, not like a bad way. Because she's just so amazing. And I think everyone needs to have someone like Catherine in their life where she's just so strong and positive and, approaches things with just okay, this is what happened. How do we get through it? It's just such an amazing role model. And I'm so honored that I get to have you as my mom because everyone needs a mom like you. And I feel so lucky that you're mine. So, yeah.
Nichole?
I really just wish that she finds this contentment and peace with all of her past. And she talks about broken roads, but it's very much just these forks that this one didn't work. So we're going to go this way again, and finding that peace. And like this hard stuff happened, but it led you to such a beautiful life and beautiful opportunities and an amazing company that you're just kick ass.
Awesome.
Taking names.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I want her to reach for the stars and make it.
Aw,
Yes.
Thanks, Mama.
And Catherine, anything you want to say to Mom and Sam and Nichole here while we got them?
Yeah. First, Mama, thank you for making me who I am. Because I think this past year when my dad passed away and I really started seeing who I am, I learned a lot about him. And that's where I get my take care of people and the strength I have from you. I'm really finally getting comfortable in my skin. And I love that. I love knowing that that comes from you guys. So thank you. Thank you for putting up with all the stuff early on and loving me anyways. And then Nichole, my favorite first daughter. I have to tell the story that they're always focusing on who's the favorite. But we as moms know that our kids are so different. So Nichole, you are my favorite first daughter, and Samantha, you are my favorite second daughter.
Thank you.
But Nichole, you have been always my protector. Like, I pity somebody trying to hurt me because she is standing there with a shield and a sword going, bring it on.
Yes.
And I love that about you. I love you walk into a room and you shine. You bring a light. And I watch these relationships you have with your friends, and it's so beautiful. These friendships. You just took a trip to Sweden with one of your best friends, and I watched the pictures in the week unfold, and I'm like, man, it says a lot about somebody when you see their friendship relationship, and that is so special. And I think you are so amazing, and I'm so proud of you, but only if you move back to Michigan. No, I just think you're just amazing, and you have done this career of labor and delivery. And I always, when you choose that, you don't see the hard side of it, meaning the babies who might not go home to a loving family or don't make it. And that's a lot of emotion that you go through in your everyday. But I think that God puts you there because you are the best person to be in that mother's life when she has her worst day. And it's the thing that she can look back saying, thank God I had a really amazing nurse to help me through that. So just really very proud of you. And Samantha, you work at Simplicity and you've done a lot of the different jobs. You have a very unique perspective in the family. You actually, I joke
Do you
with
remember E-Cats?
Yeah. I joke that my mom doesn't really know what I do. I listened to her recently, say something about she has a technology company, but that's as far as she could go. She doesn't really know the technology. But you really understand what we do. And you've always been one that I feel like, I think it's because you're in the baby spot that I've had to protect and rescue you. And you're stronger than you really realize. And I love watching you in meetings and how you just contribute and drive. And you have such a training aspect to let me show you how to do it. You bring a lot of laughter and stuff to the company. And I'm just so proud of how you've gone through your life. And, I know that you can do more for yourself. And I think that that's what your last year has been hard. And I think that you're starting to go, but I got this, and I've had to let you do that because you needed to know that you could do it. I couldn't just keep swooping in and rescuing you. I didn't need to. I was doing that for my benefit, but I needed to let you do that for your benefit, and I'm so proud of who you are. You're just this awesome person and bubbly. And one of my favorite photos of you and Nichole is when you're looking at each other. It's probably 15 years ago you took it.
Yeah.
But you're looking at each other and you just are laughing. And that
Pints
is
and quarts.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Okay, yeah. I knew there had to be a glass of wine involved.
A fishbowl.
Yeah.
Fishbowl.
Oh, good gravy. Don't tell me. These are things I don't want to know. But the picture is you guys laughing, looking at each other this far away, your noses were. You were laughing and somebody took that picture and I'm like, thank God, because what a moment. And it's on my wall. And anytime I walk by, I see it and like, I made those two humans and they couldn't be more different. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's really cool I don't know. I feel comfortable in my skin now where I didn't realize that I am finding that piece of like, I really like my life. I really like my home. And I think it's like, I really like the office that we get to call home now. It's like all these things happening that I'm like, wow, is this really my life? Did I really make this? And
Yes,
I
you did.
really did. I really
Homegrown.
did. Homegrown.
From the
for
basement
sure.
of our old house.
From the
to
basement
Monroe
know.
Center.
to the name on a building.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Name on the building. Holy smokes. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming in and joining us. And I appreciate you guys letting me sit in and listen to the stories.
I
and
told you were
and be
going
on it. So
you were going to organize
Herding
the chaos,
cats.
right?
Try it.
A little
Cats.
bit. A little bit.
But yeah, so again, thanks for coming in. This is, it's so great to hear, all the stories and stuff. I hear some of them from Catherine, but it's been great getting to know you guys. And so it's, this is awesome having you guys be able to come in and talk.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much. Thank you guys so much. I know everybody was nervous, but I'm like, yeah, we're just going to have a conversation. But thank you for listening to Simplicity Conversations. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and visit us at thesimplepodcast.com. You're going to connect and learn more, sometimes from inspiring leaders. Other times you're going to really see a genuine, authentic story like you did today with my amazing mother, Caron, and my daughters, Nichole and Samantha. And then Doug. Thank you so much.
Plus
yes. Yes. See you next time.